Welcome to Life on the Rocks, your innovative entrepreneurship and motivational based show where we ask the real questions by tapping into the minds of successful, high-performing individuals. I'm going to predicate to you that luck is an illusion, disproving the myth that there's a such thing as an overnight success. Get ready and strap in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming at you live from episode 65 of Life on the Rocks with your host, Connor LaRocque. Today's featured guest in the hot seat is Mr. Kevin Huhn. How you doing today?
Thanks, Connor, for having me. I'm doing great, actually.
Oh, great to hear it. For anyone who doesn't know Kevin, Kevin is the founder of Be Your Best Today, one of Canada's boutique PR firms. He's a media expert, a former OHL hockey scout. He is also a TEC Canada Speaker, which is a reputable business, or they host reputable business speakers. And you guys are going to love this. He's been featured on NBC News, the Globe and Mail, Fox Sports, TSN, and a number of other publications. So I'm going to put his website in so you can check it out. First question I want to start off today, Kevin. What got you started in business, my friend?
Well, at 9 years old, I had a Kool-Aid stand. Can we go back that far? But the PR firm I started about 2 years ago, and it was after a one-year trip across Canada with my wife and my daughter for a year. And it was like soul searching. And everybody says to me, "What?" That gets everybody started going, "A one-year trip?" I go, "Yeah. It wasn't a 2-week vacation. It was 13 months. My wife's brainchild, not mine." She goes, "We're going." I'm like, "All right." And we took my daughter out of school, and it was soul searching. And I had chased my dream. At 5 years old, I told my dad, "I'm going to pro hockey." Got there at 37 years later. I sat. You said the OHL, so I scattered with the OHL. But I was director of business development with the Central Hockey League. I sat on the board of the National Hockey League diversity program, and it really, for me, was like, okay, so I made it. Now what? Right? It was like, who am I? What am I about? And that's what the trip did for me. I sat there and I went, what do I love doing? What's kind of been this common theme in my life? When I consult with business owners, I say, or people that want to start a business, I say, what is it that you've seen as a common theme throughout your life? And mine was teaching, helping, consulting, coaching. It was like, oh, I'm always about helping somebody else. And I thought, man, what can I do? And somebody said to me, dude, you love the teaching piece. Why don't you teach people what you've been doing for 20 years, which is get in the media? And I went, what? I was like, what? I was like, all right, well, okay. So I created this course and I launched it a year and a half ago, actually January 2017. Oh, wow. And it took off. Everybody's like, oh my God, I love this course. And it was word of mouth and it's been growing until last year when someone said, yeah, I don't have time for your course. Can you just do it for me? And I went, what? And the birth of the PR firm literally went from do it yourself to now let's do it for you. And it grew, and I had a couple of guys who were retired journalists and managing editors from local papers, and they said, "Guy, we want to help you," and they became part of the team. And then I had a graduate from Ryerson who said, "Yeah, I want to be a part of the team." And then we had a graphic designer who goes, "Yeah, I want to be a part." And it's like it's been growing, and we are going to be making a big announcement. I'm going to do it right here for you. Is we got a partnership with a U.S. PR firm who really just want to take it to a whole new level, and we both have some cool synergies. And we said, you know what, a Canadian-U.S. relationship, they want to grow. And we want to grow. And I thought, what a better way? So we're going to be partnering up and growing the brands that way. So kind of a long story to your answer.
No, that's it. It helps in different context. No, I think that's huge. And I mean, that's great. It just shows the scalability. You're going out into the U.S. market. I mean, Canada's hard too to crack, as a marketplace, especially for PR. The question I think everybody's going to be asking in this, like, how difficult is it to get in publications? Like I said, you've been featured in some big ones, some massive, some of the biggest. How difficult is it? Do you have any tips or techniques that you have, like off the top of your head, we could utilize or know?
Absolutely. The first is you got to get out of your head that it's a difficult thing. The number one reason why people don't want to get, as business owners, why they don't want to get in the media or their fear of getting in the media, it's like, I call it this number one fear of getting in the media. It's because they didn't know that they could.
Right.
Most people go, well, I didn't know it was that easy. And it's like, yeah. And here's where it stems from. Media as a platform, TV, radio, print, podcast, blog, doesn't matter. Like any one of those platforms, they have something that they need all the time. And that is content. You as a business owner, here you are, you're running a business, you're making frames for pictures. You're a chef, you're a dog walker, you're a corporate consultant. I don't care what you're doing. You have content. Your content is your expertise. It's your knowledge, your wisdom, all the trends, the marketplace, you know, the ups, the downs, the case studies. Think of all those things you've done. And you say, oh my God, they need it. I've got it. Now, what do they have? They have eyeballs, listeners, readers, viewers, right? What do you need? The eyeballs, listeners. It's a perfect marriage. You give them what they want. They give you what you want. And for me, I did it because it was like a survival mode. I couldn't afford big advertising. Like I was like, man, how am I going to get a full page spread ad? How am I going to, you know, create a, you know, a radio advertising? I didn't have that kind of advertising budget. But if I could be interviewed, if I could get, you know, my story shared, all of a sudden, guess what? Credibility is built, exposure, awareness. And, you know, it's actually a cool thing because we've got this in the marketplace for that reason. Share stories. Why does media exist? To share what's going on.
True.
Yes, if it bleeds, it reads, right? So this is the thing where people go, oh yeah, but the news is always negative. Yes, because we as human beings, we want that scare factor, right? Or we want that, oh my God, and it's, you know, the shock factor actually is what it is. And then, yeah, okay, that gets our attention. But you know what? There's feel good stories out there. There's, hey, I didn't know about that. Hey, there's a good service. And I remember a producer, one of the local television stations said to me, we're looking for local businesses all the time. We want to feature them, get to know things. Why? Because the content is so cool. The content's relevant, right?
It's so true. Oh no, that's actually a really good point. Funny enough, I didn't look at it from that angle. I've been of the same, like the belief that's very difficult to get into, you know, different publications. I was always see these hit lists of people on these huge shows and stuff like that. I'm like, how do they do it? So transitioning off of that point, there's a question. So I know you come obviously from a media background, marketing. Yep. One of the most difficult things people see in marketing today is the fact that, you know, it's easy to drive traffic to something, but the conversion piece of it. Do you have any words of advice for anybody in terms of building conversions and getting people to buy in? It seems like the marketplace is just swarm with people putting traffic and they're just random names. Like, do you have any advice for people?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about the thing that my dad taught me when I was a young boy. And he said, it's not what you know, but who you know. So you got to build relationships. So Connor, as you and I get to know each other, so now we've met first time, here's like, oh, hey, how's it going? My door is always open to you. What do you need? How can I help you? Who do you want to talk to? Like, I can't offer you content more than I've already done, right? So I'm on your show. But you're not going to have me on next week and the week after and the week after. Like it goes, okay, it's kind of boring, right? So you go, I need new content. So how do I help you? So if I come with the mindset of, I'm trying to build a relationship with Connor, right? And I'm going to use this from this perspective and we'll put it right into the business. If the relationship is, oh my God, Kev's helpful, this is awesome, we become friends. And isn't it more fun to do things with friends? Well, where most people fail in business is they don't look at their customer as a potential friend. They just go, hey, I got this pen, Connor, buy my pen, transaction. Guess what? If you're not doing transaction, your business dies. Now, I'm not saying you don't want to make sales. What I'm saying to you is as you build relationships, people will come to help you and serve you because that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to go, hey, Connor, how do I help you? How do I help you? And you'll be like, oh my God, Kev, how do I help you? And it'll become reciprocity. What'll happen is I've served you, you served me, and now it's like, how do we help each other? If you go see a movie and you love the movie, it's easy to go to a friend and go, hey, you got to see that movie. It's a really good movie, right? And there's no skin in the game. Nobody feels like, oh, they're trying to buy something, whatever. No, there's that trust factor. Well, wouldn't that be cool if that was everything in business? Like if I go to a hamburger joint, if I go get my hair cut, if I buy insurance, if I buy gas, and I go, oh my God, Connor, those guys really took care of me. You gotta go see them. And you're like, wow, cool. I trust you, Kev. I'm going to do that. Well, in business, especially online, here's what most people do. Good taglines, good headlines, good quotes. If you like this, buy this program now. But you notice the thing that gets the attention? Look at the testimonials. Look who says it's good. Who else is it good? Then you start going, who's this person? And there's this thing about if you know, like, and trust somebody, you'll buy from them, right? Right? Okay. Give the power of buying away. Don't try and sell somebody. Give them the power to buy. Let them go, yeah, this is for me, and yeah, I want this. You obviously have got to explain your product or your service properly. I don't want to take, like, if you're a great, a baker and you make great muffins, and somebody goes, hey, what do you do? Yeah, I bake. But you don't say, obviously, you don't say, well, the person can't guess that you make the best muffins. They just go, oh, you bake. Well, they're making bread, or you're making cookies. I don't know, right? So your job is to be really clear in your messaging.
True.
Your job is also to make sure that you align yourself with others that can help get the message out, right? Because everybody understands when if you recommend me, Connor, to your friend Sue, and say, hey, you got to talk to Gabby, really knows how to help media, and she goes, you know what, you're trusted to Sue. But if I go to Sue and I go, hey, Sue, I can teach you getting the media, and here's what I do, and all the courses, like, yeah, okay, you know, I'm not really sure. So that third-party endorsement is important. So you go, okay, so you weave that into your messaging. You know, hey, I make the best muffins, and you know what, Connor, the local mayor, he says, you know what, we make some of the top muffins here. Oh, okay, well, you know what, I kind of respect the mayor. I'll go try them out, right? So you align with the right type of people. Pepsi used Michael Jackson in the 80s. Like, there's a great example, right? So he came out and he goes, you know, you drink, and Pepsi all of a sudden got a big spike in their sales. Why? Because Michael Jackson, yes, he got paid, but it was still an endorsement piece, right? So 100%. There's a piece. So that's got, some of these things, these little things got to be woven into your message. That's why I got in the media. Listen, somebody comes to me and says, do you know how to get in the media? Yeah, okay, well, prove it. Well, let's see. I've been on CBC, NBC, you know, the CTV, global, you know, and they go, oh, so you're a proven commodity. Versus, Connor, you should get in the media. Well, what do you know about that, Kev? Well, I've been reading in the paper that you could get in there. And you're like, okay, but, you know, so there's no proof in it. And so all these little things, the proof, the testimonials, the messaging being clear, how do you convert? You convert by making sure that, one, you're authentic, be who you really are, and want to build the relationship. If it's only about making the sale, it's transactional. But if it's about, I'm going to take care of Connor. Maybe I don't have the right pen for Connor, but you know what? I know someone who does. Connor, I'm going to get you to call Steve. Steve makes these great pens. And you're like, oh my God, Kev, thank you. And I don't get anything from it, but I did help you. Now you go, how do I help Kevin? And that mindset, go back to my dad's point, not what you know, but who you know. Yeah, relationships key.
No, I think that's honestly one of the most valuable pieces of advice there. I think we call it, make a joke online. It's the clipboard salespeople just coming out. Oh yeah, how many suckers can I find today? And it's always the worst. There's one of my mentors that always says that, but that's actually a really point, and you can see your wealth of experience is talking about that. I want to transition off of that point. This is a question I pose to everybody on the show. Off of that, so getting focused on your message, talking about pitching and stuff. How do you find your niche or niche, if some other people say it? Like if you're going into the media, you want to go in from an angle or a perception. How do you find your niche for these youngsters out there?
Well, the first is, what do you like? And I'll start with this. What do you like doing based on who you are as an individual, and who do you like to take care of? Right. So some people go, hey, I love taking care of seniors. I love taking care of children. I love teens. I love senior adults. You just kind of look at the person and go, who do you like taking care of? For me, I really resonated kind of a 70-30 split on women in business. And it's just growing, I'm an only child, grow up, like women, a lot of my aunts, my uncles, you know, cousins, like everybody around me is always like, oh man, there's always girls around me. Like, yeah, okay. Not because I was any, you know, playboy kind of a guy. It was just, I was more like, I could just resonate with women, connect them. So I love working with the business women who I feel today, and it's a big topic, like women in business, big thing. How do you support them? And this is perfect. That's who I love taking care of. When I talk to them, and I think it was all the years that my mom sat me down at the kitchen table and said, we're going to have a discussion now, right? You know, like this was my mom, right? So I was like, all right, so, you know, we talk. Well, that's what women do. We do a lot more talking. Guys are like, let's get to the point. Boom, you know, away we go, right? All right. So I looked and said, who do I like to take care of? Well, that 30-year-old to 50, kind of 55-year-old businesswoman, yeah, I want to help them. I want to like get them to where they want to go in business as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, or if they're starting out going, how do I even start? You know, get them there. So that was something that I like doing. And I said, okay, now what is it about them that is really important to me? Like, and now I start learning. Guess what? Now I start studying who they are. And if you really want to become good at what you do, you got to become a student. So become a student. Like, I coached. I was 18 years old, started coaching hockey. I'm 54. And I remember I was 22 years old, and I realized that until I became a student, would I be a good coach? Like, I had to be more like, I had to learn the game to actually be able to teach it, versus my attitude when I was like 18, 19, 20. I was like, listen to me, I'm the boss, you know who I am, right? It was all ego, and it was fear-based. Sure. When I became a student, it was like, wow, I need to learn this, I need to learn this. And then I was willing to be vulnerable and say, look, I don't have all the answers. I'm going to look them up. We're going to find out. Let's make it together. And then people go, okay, you know, like, let's, you know, we'll dive into that, right? So finding your niche, who do you love to take care of? What is that group of people that you go, you know what, these are important to me?
I really like that approach. Honestly, it's been good. And it's something in the industry. You see so many of these students today in the universities, the colleges, they're like, what the hell am I going to do? You know what I mean? They can't figure it out. They can't niche down. So I always say, you know, start at least a little bit wide, feel it out, take a few punches in the mouth, spit the tooth out like Gary Vee says. And it'll kind of level you in a little bit. You know, you got to, you know, they say, well, you know, you got to have experience. Well, you got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
Transitioning off that, so you talk about being a student. I think it's important. One of the biggest fears, you know, in public is public speaking. So you're, like you said, you're on the TEC Canada, or you're on TEC Canada as a speaker, which is very reputable. How do you get over that? Or how do you, first off, this is a 2-point question. How do you get over your fear of public speaking? And do you have any advice for people to land speaking obligations? Should they go on a bureau, or should they just start building their brand? What do you think?
Well, good question. So getting over the fear of speaking is simple. If you can have a conversation with a human being, any human being, I'm talking at a coffee shop, on the phone, you know, something that's dialogue, not typing, not a text message or a Facebook message. I'm talking having a conversation, right? If you can do that, you can public speak. You say, no, 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 no. Okay, if you tell yourself no, you're right. But if there's a desire, and even if it's a pinhead of a desire to go, I would eventually like to speak to a group of people on something, I don't know what, but I'd like to speak, then just know that it's a conversation.
Right.
And the fun part is if you go, well, I'm kind of nervous, we're all nervous. Even the best of us are nervous, because it's not the nervousness of fear, meaning, oh, I'm going to bomb, but it's the nervousness of, I want to deliver. And I want to be good at what I do. And I want to make sure I help someone else. And then there's like this, oh yeah, okay, there's this activation of, yeah, I want to get this done. That's great. And getting over public speaking, just do it. Like literally just practice in front of stuffed animals. Like,
I like that.
But you put a room full of stuffed animals, stand in front of them, and they're all looking, their little eyeballs looking at you, and you just start talking. And then you say, okay, I can do this. And then if you want to move to a library, you know, libraries do these little workshops and they have all these things go there. Have people over at your house. Have a party and host a party. That's a great way to start getting over your fear, because they're people you know. So you can already talk to them, right? And if you host a party, make it where you're the host and you actually walk through an event. Like, we're going to do this and we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And people go, okay, that's like, it's practice. Connor, like, it's the easiest, right? Now, let's say you're a seasoned person, or you want to be seasoned. You're like, okay, I'm over the fear, but I want to speak. How do I get it? Well, the best way is start asking and start looking at where you can speak at. Speak at places that your topic is relevant. Let's say your topic is about, I don't know, how to paint really good pictures. We'll start looking maybe at schools, universities, colleges, local community outlets that go teaching on artwork. Say, hey, look, can I teach a workshop? Hey, can I co-teach with you? Maybe there's already a teacher and they need help because they got a class of 27, and boy, if they could have somebody just helping out, start volunteering. You know, I used to hear this, like, volunteer, and I'd be like, oh, I want to get paid. Yeah, guess what? You will get paid when you can speak many times over and over, and here's what happens. Eventually the money comes. But I've done, I don't know how many freebies, and it was all part of my learning. It was just part of the development. It was part of the growth. You know, I used to, when I was a kid, I go, I just want to become president. You know, I was in college, I want to become president. Okay, great. Do you know how the company works? No. Well, then be the janitor, then be the regular person, then the manager, then build it up and understand, so that when you lead the company, you know how things are going. And nobody can say, you don't know how that works. You'd be like, no, you're right, I don't. Learn it. You know, so to be a speaker, a paid speaker, and I'll call it the Tony Robbins of the world, who's one of the top, and the top out there. And he says, I'm not a speaker, I'm a strategist, and that's fine. But he's out speaking in front of a lot of people. I remember my wife and I met at a Tony Robbins event in 1993.
Oh, wow.
And in 92, 93, I can remember people saying to me, oh, that's that guy with the big teeth. Who is he? He's just a sales guy, whatever. Nobody wanted to go see him. We were 300 people at a Tony Robbins event. That is unheard of today.
It's true.
It's 5,000, 10,000. Yeah. Well, in 93, people laughed at me for going. Now it's like I look back and I go, the guy was powerful on stage, but he built it over time. Yes, he sold tickets, but he was just nonstop. How do I help? How do I help? How do I serve? How do I help? And he just kept going, right? And studying along the way. So if you want to get to a bureau, absolutely reach out to a bureau. They're going to tell you yes or no. If they say no, it's no for now, not no forever.
Exactly. No, that's huge. I think that's actually a really valuable piece of advice. People don't realize. The same with schools too. I tell them it's like it's not a matter of getting in; it's a matter of when. No, I really enjoy that. I think that's a really good perspective. And then and always with the Tony Robbins piece, with anybody of a high stature, they always get that kind of stigma associated. Oh, they're just out for money, But then you look at their huge testimonial list, like you said, with the credibility. Do you have anybody specifically that you're following, in the 21st century, besides, Tony Robbins and stuff that you're watching out for? That's making a big hit in the marketplace?
There's a few people. One of them, you said, Gary V. So Gary Vaynerchuk. So one of the things I've been watching with him, and I've only really gotten into him in the last year and a half or so, but he's been around for like 12, 15 years, like doing what he's doing, right? So he's been around a long time, especially the last 10 years doing what he's doing, but he's caught on because it's like you become mainstream. It's the overnight success. It took 20 years. Right. Another guy that he has a lot of followers, but you don't hear a lot about him is James Malinchak.
James is the man.
Hey, I'm a big money speaker. I mean, this is James, right? Like this is James, man, all the way. A little bit of marketing, right? And one of the things James has taught, like I followed James now 10 years, and
right.
James has been a huge mentor of mine. And a lot of the things he's taught me is you're always marketing. If you're in business of any kind, you're always marketing, and that's where companies fail. I don't care if you're an owner of a solopreneur little business or you've got a 400 person company. You're in the marketing of business. You're not in the we're in the pizza making business. James has a great story. James says there's this little pizza restaurant that's near his place, right? And he goes in, and the guy goes, "Oh, I'm running a pizza joint." And he goes, "No, you're in the marketing of pizza. So how are you helping the customer feel better? How are you creating VIP? I call you, let's say, once a week for pizza. Why do I not have a special kind of treatment? Think about how you could take care of me. Why? Because I'm bringing you business every week, let's say, versus somebody who comes once a year, twice a year, right? Not that you don't want to take care of them, but that regular customer, how do you take care of them? So you're constantly marketing, and marketing being, how do I gain the awareness, knowledge of you to make me top of mind, which is another one of James' things, top of mind awareness, right? So you as an individual, kind of like you're in this radio, you got your radio show and you think of your business, how you're trying to grow, right? How do you stay on top of mind with people? There's got to be ways. There's got to be, whether it's you're going to do another advertisement, whether you're going to do a post, whether you're going to be out waving a flag, whether you're going to have a sandwich board, whether you're going to knock on someone's door. There's going to be ways it goes, people go, oh yeah, I remember Connor. Oh yeah, Connor. Oh yeah, Connor. That's what you're ultimately looking for. Who does that? Look at the big guys. McDonald's does it all the time. Home Depot, right? The Walmart, Starbucks. They're doing it all the time.
No, 100%.
Because it works.
No, literally, it's that basic. If people want to try to make it complex, they got to see you. You know what I mean? One of my last questions, because I know we have to cut this short. I know you have another interview you're doing. One last one. Do you have any advice for if you were growing up, so you were a hockey player, if you could go back, 25 years, do you have any advice you would tell yourself that, you've learned now that's a huge nugget of information? In your generation?
Absolutely. Quit being afraid. Quit being so afraid. But dude, I was like I was afraid of my own shadow. I'd come across like, oh, so confident, but it was like trying to make jokes, and I used the laughter as a way to break the ice because I hated animosity. I hated, having a rub with someone. I had a hard time with conflict, and so I'll just bring humor. That's because I was afraid inside. Now I've become to the point, and I'll use what Gary Vee says. Quit worrying about what other people say. Stop it. Now it's like, you know what? People are going to hate me. All right, they're going to hate me. People are going to like me. Okay, they like me. But my whole thing is I'm going to take care of me inside out. And that's what I do more of now than I've ever done before. No, that's a very valuable piece of advice. Honestly, Kevin, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show this morning. I want to ask you, so we can find you online. So Kevin Huhn, so Huhn. I want to make sure. Yeah, KevinHuhn.com. Yep, KevinHuhn. My apologies on that. I'm going to mix it up once we get going. No, it's all good. KevinHuhn.com. Perfect. I'm going to tag you in this. Thank you so much for coming on the show this afternoon or this morning. My pleasure. Thank you.